Howdy all among Lex Lives. I think it's time to play a little 7 Days to Die. Alright. Where did I leave off? Let's see. Ooh, I do have a treasure map. Let's go ahead and add that. You're still cooking up lots of metals. Day 45, I think this is the third day past, right? 49 will be the next horde. So we don't have a horde. So I guess we might go look for, treasure. While I wait for this stuff to, you know what, let's go ahead and throw a bunch of this in here, and then I can, blade. Do I have any... Man, I can't spell. Oh, I do have enough for some motion sensors as well. So we'll go ahead and get those cooking. Oh nice, we still got plenty of parts left. I like it. Food and water is bad though. Let's go ahead and get some water in me. Oh man, so I got a couple of stories to tell you. So we've been having some issues with the old internet, and I don't think they're quite fixed, but it's a little better than it was. Oh, no, they must be in the fire? Oh, good. I was gonna say, am I out of meat stews? And so the other day, I called and I'm like, hey, this is not working, and they're like, blah blah blah, you're not the person whose name's on the account. I'm like, well, clearly I'm calling from the, the location, so I have all the information. Anyways, long story short, they had me move the phone off of the filter, which seemed to have helped quite a bit, onto the modem itself, and then the guy was like, yeah, and then you can have the person whose name's on the account go ahead and request a new modem, and I'm like, all right, I will let her know. And so then okay. So then we get the modem, right? And I spend the hour or so hooking it up. I gotta unhook the old one, I gotta run the new phone line. Not a new phone line, but from the jack to the modem, just in case the old phone cable had gone bad. I gotta fish out the power cable because they want all that stuff back, and I put it all back in the box. The new one came in, and I went through the setup and everything, and we got the box taped closed, and I printed off the return label, and I put it on there. And so I don't really go out but like once a week, maybe. And but my sister, whose name is, who's basically, it's her account, is out like every day for work, and her husband goes out most days for work. And so I got the box all ready to go, and all they have to do is take it to UPS and drop it off. To UPS Dropbox, even. And they don't have to go in or anything. They just got to go to the Dropbox, shove it in there. And so it's on the kitchen counter. And I'm like, hey, there's the modem. This needs to get dropped in the UPS drop box. Sure thing. How long we got? Well, it's 30 days before they charge you for the modem. If you don't get it back within 30 days. Oh yeah, we can do that. I'm like, well, I would hope so, because you just have to drop it off. You know, it's not too big of a deal to send it out. You just got to put it in the UPS drop box. It's in the box. It's all taped up. It's got the return label, which has already got the shipping paid on it. Just got to put it in there. That's it. And yeah, we'll get that. So that was Monday. So today is Friday, basically. And it's Thursday night for me, but I know my sister's not going to take it with her tomorrow. And so that was weird. Oh, I thought that was the treasure right there. And so Tuesday goes through, Wednesday goes through. It's still laying on the counter. And so I'm like, hey, you know, this needs to go back to the UPS drop box. And my sister looks at me like I'm crazy. And I'm like, yeah, you know, just the UPS I don't know what that is. I'm like, you don't know what a UPS drop box is. I've seen you use one. You know, the white metal box with the UPS logo on the outside of it. You pull the handle, it opens up, you push the box in, you close it, you know that thing? Obviously, I know what you're talking about, but I don't know where one is. I'm like, sure you do. She's like, well, I'm not driving all the way to the other town nearby. I'm like, well, no, there's several of them in the larger town that you go to work in. And she's like, where? I've never seen one. And so I named like 3 places I could think of where I'd seen them. And she's like, well, I don't know about that. She's like, I'm busy. I don't have time. I'm like, well, you just gotta stop and drop it off. It's not like that has to be done during the day. You could go after work and shove it in there. It's not like you don't drive around. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know where that is. I can't do it. I'm like, okay. And she's like, just have my husband do it. I'm like, yeah. He was supposed to. He said he was going to. I was just letting you know it was still here, where it needs to go, and that if you don't get it back to them within 30 days, it's you know, it's going to be charged to your card. And she's like, look, I know what you're talking about. I don't know why you keep saying this to me. Because you're acting, you just said you don't know what I'm talking about. I'm trying to explain. Oh. It's still on the counter. It's still laying there. They've been to town, between the two of them, 8 times this week. At least. At least 8 times this week. And they still have not taken it back. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I'm not going to worry about it, because it's not going to get charged to me. So, they can't be bothered to take it back. So, this is a great example of how good they are at doing things. And so, they were getting the roof redone. And so I talked about this before. They had the insurance company come out, and so they sent us a check. Well, we got the check. And so then it was a huge hassle to get a hold of the guy. So now they got a hold of the guy, but the check needs to go into the bank. Oh, I thought that was his head. I thought that was his head again. Is that guy dead now? Finally. And, you know, I should just take this right over. Oh, you won't be open though, right? Well, let's go see if we got any blades ready to be put down. And so, let's see. Oh, yeah, I got 9 of them. So they got the check, and the check has to go in the bank. And they go to town, they don't take the check. They leave it on the counter. Right where the modem currently is. They leave it on the counter. I don't know why they don't take the check, they just don't take the check. And so then they lose the check. They can't find it. It was on the counter. It is no longer on the counter. It did not go in the bank. No one knows where it's at. I didn't know this. Nobody said anything to me. But I found out later. Oh yeah, I lost the check for 5 days. They looked for it and couldn't find it. And so, yeah, so if you don't stay on them, they're either gonna move it so it gets lost, or they're just not gonna do anything about it. And which made me think of another funny thing they've done here recently. They lost the remote to the television. Now with modern televisions, there are no buttons on some of these, so you gotta have the remote. And so I had no idea it had happened, and so they, man, I guess I could make some meat stews here while I wait for some of this stuff to cook up, or wait for it to get daytime anyway, so I can go out and sell the stuff I just got from that treasure chest. But they, so they lost the remote, and I'm like, so did you throw it away? Because you've done that before. Threw away one of my remotes, actually, which is super irritating because I had a remote, and I have the second remote right here. But I had a remote. It's like $50 to replace it. They lost it, but I wound up having to pay for it. But they can't find this remote. And then they're like, well, I don't know what we're supposed to do. I'm like, well, you can buy replacement remotes. You just have to take the name of the TV, basically, and go to the store, and you can get a new one. Oh, well, I don't know how to do that. You don't know how to look on the TV for the name of the TV and then go to the store. No, I don't go to the store. You go to the store at least once a week. At least once a week when you guys go grocery shopping. Oh, well, yeah, I mean, I go to the store then, but, you know, I don't regularly go to the store. Once a week is regularly you go to the store. And so then later he was complaining about not having the remote. I'm like, well, why didn't you get a new one? You just came back from the store. Well, I went to the electronics section and I stood there for a little bit. And then, I realized that, I didn't remember what the name of the TV was. I'm like, okay, well, they sell universal remotes. Why didn't you get one of those? I don't know. I just stood there in the electronics section for a few minutes and looked around, but I didn't see any kind of remote there. Are you kidding me? So I don't know what they were doing, but guess what was in the couch where they said they'd looked? Sometimes. And then today, was another spur of the moment fishing trip that had to happen. And so they're like, oh man, you know, we don't have anyone to watch the kids, but obviously we have to go on this fishing trip immediately, and we can't wait 1 extra hour for my sister to get home to take care of her own kids. It's got to be done now. Why can't I make a meat? Oh, I don't have corn. Derp-de-dur. Corn. And, so of course I mean, okay, it was 2 hours in their plan, but 2 hours actually means like a half hour because A, they never leave on time, B, they never have their stuff packed, and C, the guy they're going with, I tell him the movie times when we go to the movies are an hour earlier than they actually are because he's an hour behind always. And there we go. Lots of meat stews. And so they yeah, they finally got going late this afternoon. I think I'm gonna go grab some water too while I'm at it. I could use some more water. It looked like I was getting a little low. Especially since these meat stews use up bottles of water, so. And it's northwest to the lake. So, alright, so the other story I wanted to tell. So we played our D&D this week, our Wednesday night D&D. And, so last week, we fought an adult shadow dragon, right? Not only did we fight her, but we fought her in her lair, which makes them more powerful. And her lair was in the ruins of this old mansion, and apparently she dug out a giant cave system because she was capable of flying around in it so that we couldn't use melee attacks on her. So in fact, a lot of stuff lately has been flying around so that my melee-based characters can't use melee on them. That's our DM's way to stop us from being able to fight things, is just to fly around so that we can't touch them. Although this last... Well, anyways. So, we kill this dragon. He's been moaning about us wanting to kill this dragon for a long... Is this not the direction to water? Yeah, it is. And he's been moaning about us wanting to kill this dragon for a while now. And she actually was super easy, even with him cheating. And he did cheat. He likes to do stuff like let the bad guys take more actions than they're supposed to on a turn. And so you get something like a dragon in their lair gets lair actions and legendary resistances, which are things that happen outside your turn. But he'll go ahead and let him cast a spell and then do their regular attack. And a lot of times that's a either or, not a both and kind of thing. Right? This water is supposed to be right here, it looks like. And, anyways, we killed the dragon, and then after the dragon, he's like, alright, let me calculate XP. I'm gonna tell you right now, I didn't roll any loot for it this week, because I didn't think we'd get this far. And, we literally had a map with a token. That was all the prep he did this week. A map, a token. And he couldn't be bothered to roll up loot tables. And then he oh man, this way. He I'll have him done by next session. And so we start the session, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I never did roll up those loot tables. Let me do that right now." And then he says, "I'm going to tell you right now. While she does have some loot, she did not keep her hoard where you killed her, and so you don't know where it is." I'm sorry, what? We killed a dragon in her lair. In her lair. They don't have more than one. In her lair, and she doesn't have her hoard? So he gave us, he didn't even give us good loot. His idea of loot is crappy, I can't fight this guy. Crappy magic items that don't really help. And, wow. I am a terrible aim. Oh man, and now I'm bleeding to death. Come on, guy. Oh, dang it, I was using the medical kit. Why did it take so long to take effect? Sometimes, game, I don't know what's wrong with you. Should that not have taken effect? But, yeah, I thought that was ridiculous. No loot. I mean, we got some loot. We got a little bit of gold, and a little bit of gold, and oh, yeah, magic items, right? So we have a rogue slash fighter. We have a sorcerer. We have a monk. Oh no! Oh no! Dang it! I thought I reset my bedroll. I didn't reset my bedroll. Look at the lights on in that building up there. That's kind of cool. So and a war cleric, fighter rogue, a sorcerer who loves lightning, and a monk who open hand, way of the open hand, is that what it is? Anyways, a combat monk. And so what amazing loot did we get from the dragon? Can you imagine? We got a statue that turns into an elephant once every 7 days. This whole campaign takes place in caves underground. Where are we gonna have use for an elephant? Oh, this is a great magic item. I'm really happy you guys got this. You got a magical statue of an elephant. Once every 7 days, you can summon an elephant. Oh, goody. I'm like, okay, sorcerer, you can have that one. He's like, are you sure? Because, I mean, if you want it, you can have it. I don't really... Like, no, I don't want it. I have no use for it. None. Zero. Zilch. I don't need an elephant. I don't even know what the stats are on an elephant. It can't even be that amazing. He doesn't understand a lot of stuff in the game, like loot especially. And then our second item, glasses. Glasses that let you charm someone 3 times a day. You're aware that this is a super combat heavy campaign, right? When was the last time we tried to charm somebody? When was the last time we had a conversation with somebody that didn't just end in us killing everything that moves? And I don't mean townsfolk. We've never had to charm a townsperson. And cultists always kill us in the middle of us trying to talk with them. When have we, and especially now that we're at the end of the campaign, we literally have 4 or 5 dungeons left to crawl through, and the campaign's over. I would have liked some potions, or some weapons, or something. But we got an elephant and a pair of glasses. And that was it. I forget what the guy got. He found something outside, but he didn't have anything prepared for us to search the ruins on the outside. And so he gave him something. A potion of flying. Yes. Oh, you're gonna like this. This is awesome. Here's a potion of flying. He's this sorcerer. He's a sharpshooter sorcerer. So he already doubled the distance at which he can throw his spells. It's not sharpshooter. It's called something else when it's spells. But what is it called with the spells? I know sharpshooter is with bows and crossbows and stuff, I think. Spell is spell sniper. He's a spell sniper. So if the spell says 120 feet, he can throw it 240 feet. But you know what? You never, almost ever, have a map big enough to shoot something at 240 feet. So, no, I mean, other people probably do, but I've never played on a map that big. So, he's never going to need to fly. So why is that exciting? Why are you so excited about fly potions? I think we've used a flight potion once since this campaign began, and he just used it in a cheaty way. He, being the DM with his DM NPC, drank a potion, then flew up in the air, and then attacked a dragon. The first dragon that we killed, and which he shouldn't have been able to do. And someone else would have finished off the dragon if he had not cheated to allow his guy to kill it. So, but yeah, we're combat heavy, man. We need heal potions. We need potions of haste. We need resist potions. You know, we don't need an elephant. Oh man, you're gonna love this one. A statue of an elephant. So glad I got that statue of an elephant. And then we're like, he's like, are you gonna just camp here in the campgrounds where we just fought a giant? Oh, that's another thing. We killed a couple of giants this week, and so I was like, no, we're gonna fly off to I mixed up the names of the towns, and I said a smaller town, and I'm like, we're gonna fly off to Tribor is what I said. We're gonna fly off to Tribor to get some resist potions because we're kind of out now, and we know that the elemental-based guys we've been playing against fire elemental spells, and so it'd be nice to have some resists against these elemental spells. And he's like, well, I don't think they're going to have any there. I'm like, oh, isn't Tribor the big city? And he's like, no, that's Yarder. I'm like, oh, yeah, Yarder. We're going to go to Yarder. I don't know if you can make it to Yarder. I'm like, Yarder is closer to us now than the place we left in the first place. And we made it here in half a day from the farther town, so I feel like since our fight took about 45 seconds, and it's over now, that we should probably be able to make it less than half a day to the other place. No? I mean, I think that's the way this works. And he's like, oh, yeah, I guess you could probably do that. And then he's like, but I'd better roll to see if they have any fire resist potions at the largest city in the game that we're playing. I'm not saying that, you know, they should have everything going, but I feel like resist potions would be pretty common in a campaign that we're almost to the end of, where there are people dedicated to specific elements who are hunting people on the roads. I just think that would be... I guess the problem is I like to apply logic to what's going on, and then of course logic does not apply to anything. It's how I try to run my campaign, not logically necessarily, but you know, a town in the middle of fields that caters to farm people, probably not going to have the best armor in the world. But if you then travel to the largest city in the game, they're probably going to have a little bit of everything at least. You know, or, you know, maybe in the small town you might find one or two, you know, heirloom potions from adventurers who've retired or something. But I get that you might not find them if I go to the smallest town in the game. But we're not talking the smallest town. We're talking the major shipping town. I don't know if they're going to have any of those. I'll have to roll to see. So the random caravan guy had some in the small town we went to, but the actual large shipping town does not. That's what you're saying. The large shipping town does not have potions. We'll see though, because I could really use some more speed potions. Definitely need more fire resist potions because fire spells hurt bad. Mostly it's because a lot of the fire stuff has damage shields built in, so when you hit them you take damage. And so like my fighter rogue could hit up to 6 times, 7 times if I add in a haste potion. A speed potion. Oh, you know, I thought this is where I died, but no. How far away am I? Oh man, I thought I died in this town. I'm not even close. Yeah. I was trying to think if there was any other stories I wanted to tell real quick. I feel like there was another one in here. But, alright, well, I am going to call it here then, so click like if you like, subscribe, share, and catch the next one, and I will talk to you later.